Good morning, traders. Welcome to this week's Elliott Wave Forex and Cryptocurrency Market Analysis webinar. I hope you all had a wonderful week. There has been a lot of market moves in the last week. We'll be looking at how those have played out and what we're looking to trade in the next week. Right, before we get started, if you'd like to contact us, check out contact details on all our videos. Under the description, you'll find the contact details. You just click on the show more tab. Under the description, you will find the website as well as our Twitter and Facebook pages, as well as our Telegram page. So you can check out and follow some of the charts that we post on those pages. Now, you will also find the details about the next course. The next course is starting on the 5th of October. That's about 3 weeks away now. So you can book your spot for the course on our website. If you go to elliottwave-principle.com, that's where you can book. So you will find the full recorded course when you make a booking for the course. That means you can watch the course before the live one starts on the 5th of October. All right, so that's what we have, and we'll be looking at the market analysis. Let's start with our market analysis. Dollar pairs. There's something very interesting in the market this week. Let's have a look. We're going to be dissecting them pair group. So we'll start with the US dollar pairs. Something that I missed to mention here, if you check here under the description, you'll also find the timestamps. I know not everybody wants to see all the charts, so these timestamps, I load them up about an hour or two after the webinar. So if you check the about 2-3 hours after the webinar has been uploaded, you will find the timestamps. So that means you can go to the specific pairs that you're interested in if you do not want to watch the whole video. Right, so let's get started. US dollar pairs. Let's start with the DXY. What are we expecting with the DXY? Some of the charts, you'll see that on my current charts, I do not have I don't have all the labelings on the chart. So the updated charts are on the website here. So we'll be referring to the charts on the website. Let's start with the DXY. We'll go to the US dollar pairs. So this is how our website works, by the way. So we've got 4 time frames on all the pairs that are listed. So starting with the DXY, let's have a look at the DXY, the weekly chart. So this is the weekly chart on the DXY. So I want us to look at the weekly chart so that we can take a step back out and look at why the DXY or the US dollar has been on a downtrend for the last couple of months. So let's have a look at it. So this is what we're looking at. We saw this last move. This is the last W move. So you can see the white ABC there. Now we're looking at that white ABC. If you look at that white ABC, it is in the same degree as this white WXY. So that means we are looking at this W at this, it should be the same color. Just trying to show you that it's the same degree. So it's the W here in white and the X. Let me just do this. Let's do this so we don't confuse. So if I follow the white, let me show the white degree with the white. So that's ABC there. Then we've got the white degree W and the white degree white X, and we're looking for this one to make a double correction in this bigger degree here, WXY structure. Okay, so that is what we're looking at in this degree. Right, so now the reason why we've been looking for the US dollar to keep coming down is because we are looking to build this lower degree ABC here. I should use the blue color here to show that degree here. So this is the ABC that we're looking at. Now the question is, we're currently on this last leg here, the ABC to the downside. So what we do here is we keep selling as long as the our indicator confirms. We've got an indicator that confirms whether the direction that we forecasted is correct or not, because it is easy to make this forecast. It is easy to make this forecast, but to get to trade it, that is where the trick, this is where it gets tricky. You need to be able to, you can forecast this, that's the easy part, but to trade this and to time where to enter, that is where it becomes challenging. Now, what if your forecast is wrong? What if your forecast is wrong? So if your forecast is wrong, the indicator will tell you where the next immediate move is going. So for example, if I just take this one off here, if we are here and the indicator tells us we are going down, that means the forecast is still intact. Now, what if we're at the same place, but the indicator does not confirm downside, but it shows us that we are going up. So we need to adjust the structure. So if the indicator confirms, agrees with the structure, that means we take the trade in that specific direction. Now notice that this is a weekly chart, so that means that's a number of pips to the downside here on this specific pair, and that's how we trade. So that's why I want to show you the weekly chart so you can see where we're going with this. So we're still looking for this one to, we've got this move to the upside here, the W has completed, and we're looking for this one as an X in 3 waves to come down. So that means we're looking for this one to continue lower. That is on the weekly, but how is the 4 hour? Let's look in the lower degree now. Let's go to the 4 hour. Is the 4 hour confirming the direction? You may be going down on the weekly, but you find that the weekly can make a move to the upside, but that's just going to be a pullback. But overall, the direction will be downside if this is playing out like this. Now, what we're seeing here, before I go to the DXY, I want to show you why I'm going to be forecasting that the DXY will be should show a move to the downside. So we're forecasting this move here, and we're looking for this one to make a continuation pattern to the downside like this. We have seen a exact same structure on US dollar CHF that has already played out. If we go to US dollar CHF, now this is US dollar CHF. Can you see that US dollar CHF is leading the DXY? We've got the exact same structure, and I'm going to show you the structure in detail. So this is the US dollar CHF. I'm going to do the US dollar CHF structure, 1, 2, 3, down, and now US dollar CHF has already done this. Okay, now we're looking for this one to continue lower. This was the B on the CHF, 1, 2, 3 there. Can you see there? So I'm going to remove the CHF. I'm going to bring the DXY. Let's bring the DXY. Now the DXY, similar structure, only that the purple move has not played out as yet. So the DXY looks like this. So we've got this 1, 2, 3. Can you see that it's exactly the same? You've got a regular flat here, just like you have on US dollar CHF. Remember, these are correlated. And you've got this one coming down here. What has happened? The US dollar CHF, as you've seen, is already here. This one is just here at the top. So we're expecting that US dollar, the DXY, will continue to the downside and follow what US dollar CHF has done. But we need to get that confirmation here, because this can form a different structure here. But this is what we're looking at. If I've removed this, you will think it's exactly the same chart. Okay, so what are we looking for? We're looking to trade this one into the same direction, Are we only just looking at the pattern? No, we're not only just looking at the pattern, we're also looking at the sequence as follows. Let's go to the 4 hour chart on the DXY as well. Let's have a look at the DXY. Let me clean this up for now. So this is what we're looking at. So we're looking at this whole structure to possibly be a wave 4 like that, and then make a move to the downside. That is where you saw that structure that I've shown you in that degree. Let me bring it back. I hope it does not sit on the chart. So that is the structure that you see. This is where you will see it here. This W here, X here, and the Y there. That's why we'll be looking for this one. Unfortunately, it's sitting on the same chart. So I would have liked it to be separate. You will see that it's exactly the same chart. So that's what we're looking at on the DXY. We're looking for continuation to the downside. All right, so let's go now on to the euro. I'm not going to go into as much detail as I did with the DXY, but that is the basis of how the market moves. So that is the DXY. So if the DXY is going to push lower, we'll expect a slight push to the upside on the euro, even if this does correct a bit like that. Because if you look at the structure for the euro, it's the exact inverse of the DXY. Let me bring the DXY back and show the euro structure. Let me make a full screen here. Okay, so we've got the full screen. I want to show you the euro structure. So euro is like this. 1, 2, 3, and we're seeing this one continuing to the upside. Okay, so similar to US dollar CHF, the DXY, this is the inverse now. You can see it is exactly the same structure, so we'll be expecting this one to do that and push slightly higher. But I would not necessarily want to trade this unless I've got a clear corrective structure here, a continuation pattern on the euro, then I'll trade it to the upside, because there is a very strong divergence on the euro, even if we do make this last move to the upside. There's very strong divergence. I'll show you the divergence now on the euro. There's very strong divergence. So that means even if we do make a push to the upside, we may just get to the top here and then make a bigger corrective structure. Now, if you look at all these three patterns, you can see that they are all exactly the same. These two exactly the same, and this is the inverse of the two of these patterns. Let's go into the markets now. So this is the euro. This is what we're going to be looking at. We'll be looking for this one to make a bit of a move here and continue to the upside. Even if we do go and make a continuation to the upside, like I said, we should see downside. Right, so now we have got very strong divergence. That's the divergence I want to show you, is this one. If you look at this here, the RSI is showing very strong divergence from right at around the end of July. We've been making this move. So the price is making new highs and the RSI is making new lows. So even if you do see price making another new high, the indicator has already, the RSI has already started a move to the downside. Now, this is only the RSI. This is not the indicator strategy that we use. I'm just showing you what the RSI divergence is showing us on this. So it's possible that this may have ended. This move may have ended, but needs to be confirmed. If it has ended, then it's going to change the structure slightly. Then we have something like this. So you need to look at both possibilities. Okay, so let's watch it. I would like it to make one move to the upside, then that's going to confirm that we're going to make a move to the downside, because the RSI will make another new low and then we'll start looking for downside. So let's watch it. All right, let's go through the rest of the pairs. US dollar chief, I've already shown you US dollar chief. I want to go straight to US dollar chief because it's got exactly the same structure. 1, 2, 3. Now we're looking for this one to make a continuation pattern to the downside. Okay, so now all this, you can see the sequences on the website like this. Let's look at US dollar chief. Let's look at the 4-hour. That's what you see on US dollar chief there. So 1, 2, 3, we've already started this move to the downside. Okay, so that's how this is playing out, and that's how we're going to be looking at it in the next week. So the US dollar pairs looking very interesting in the week ahead. US dollar CAD, let's have a look at US dollar CAD. We are in this corrective structure. Nothing much has happened here. So this corrective structure, looking at the US dollar weakness, could be coming down. Okay, so let's see how this one is going to play out. Let's take this off and just look at the structure. So we'll be looking for this one to make a pullback here and make a continuation to the downside. Let's have a look at US dollar CAD here on the website here. Let's go back. Let's look at US dollar CAD. Let's look at US dollar CAD 4-hour. So this is where we are. You can see that we've made this move. We made this move here. So it can be a deeper correction. That is the forecast now. It can be a deeper correction, or this could be all a correction and we start making a move to the downside. We will wait for a confirmation here. If we see a continuation pattern here, we're going to adjust the structure accordingly. Right, so that's US dollar CAD. So watch out for this corrective structure here, and we'll be looking for this move to come to the downside when it is confirmed. Right, pound US dollar. Let's have a look at pound US dollar. Now, pound US dollar, very interesting structure. Let's have a look. We're actually looking for pound US dollar to make a continuation to continue to the upside, but that structure has changed. Let's go look at the daily now. See how the structure has changed and what we're going to be looking at. Right, so pound US dollar, we have got this structure. We're looking at this one to make this corrective structure like that. Now, this can possibly be a running flat. You can see that we have broken the low here, but we didn't break the top. That is the characteristic of a running flat. Now, we've already made a move to the downside, and we're starting to make a continuation to the downside. Now, we need to see if we're going to get a pullback and confirmation to the downside. And also, we need to get the indicator to confirm that this trend is going to resume to the downside. Now, if that is the case, that means we've got a running flat there, and this is going to continue to the downside. So, well, let's wait for a pullback at current levels on pound US dollar. So it looks like the pound pairs, unlike what we forecasted last week, have changed the direction. So we need to make some adjustments. So they did not confirm the moves that we forecasted in the last week. So let's have a look here. So we've got a pulsing move to the downside. You don't want to come and sell this move. Wait for a pullback. Wait for a 3-wave pullback. If you do get it, especially on the 4-hour, look for a continuation to the downside. Needs to be confirmed. We've already looked at this. Let's look at AUD US dollar. AUD US dollar. So AUD US dollar, we actually took a small trade that is back to break even last week. Let me just show you on the 1 hour. So our members will remember how we looked at this one. So this did not go anywhere. So we took a trade here expecting it to go all the way, but it went back to break even. As you can see, we took it right there, made about 50 pips and came back. Now we're looking at this corrective structure. So let's have a look at how this is going to play out. This should be a corrective structure. We'll be looking for this one before we make a move to the upside. So it's just sideways on AUD US dollar. Shouldn't be much happening there on AUD US dollar. Let's have a look. New Zealand US dollar is the same, has made a pulsing move. So they all showed this indication for upside, where it's just it looks like it was just to complete the 5-wave move of this impulse. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we've got now a pullback ABC. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC. If this is going to resume higher, we need to see this one pull back and then continue to the upside. For now, we stay out of this one. We wait for confirmation. So if this is the end of the upside move, we're going to see this structure. If this plays out like this, that means we've got a continuation pattern to the downside. Let's wait to see which one confirms there. US dollar ZAR. US dollar ZAR still continuing lower. Has made a continuation pattern here. There's a pullback in 3 waves. And now we've started a move to the downside like this. We're still going to see continuation to the downside. So there's still weakness in the dollar against the ZAR. So some strength for the ZAR there on US dollar ZAR. Right, let's look at pound. Pound is similar to, pound yen is similar, we're going to the yen pairs now. So pound yen is similar to pound US dollar in that the structure is showing downside. Again, this is one of those that we expected to go all the way, but the structure has changed here now. How is this structure changed? Let's have a look at just the last swing on pound US dollar. So we are seeing this 3-wave move, and we see that we made a pulsing move, strong pulsing move to the downside and a move to the upside here correctively. Now this is coming down like this. Now it is tricky to actually just sell this one like this without a continuation pattern. So what you want here is to confirm that this move is going to continue lower. You don't just come and sell here, because if you come and sell here, this can start correcting, or not just correcting, it could be making a running flat like this. So that means you sell here, then it makes a running flat, and you've got this structure, then it gives you a WXY structure. Now to confirm that you're not getting a WXY structure, you need to get a confirmation that you're going to have a continuation pattern here. That will disqualify the upside move. So your indicator must tell you that this is continuing to the downside. Right, so that's what we're looking at now. So we've got 3 waves up, we've got a running flat there. We're focusing a running flat for now. It can be an expanding flat as well, but for now we're looking for at least this one to come retest the lows at 132, about 300 pips from current levels, 300-400 pips from current levels. So we're looking for it to come down there. That is pound yen, US dollar yen. So we look at US dollar yen. So US dollar yen is just going sideways here. I'm on the daily now. So this going sideways. Looks like we're going to make a bit of a move to the upside, make a move down here, and we have a structure like this, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so initially we were looking at these. So we can actually look at these to have made a flat correction there, 1, 2, 3, WX, if it plays out like this. But this focusing way ahead. So let's see how this is going to play out. Let's look at the next immediate move. This is the short-term move to the upside here. So we'll see short-term upside on US dollar yen on the daily there. Let's look at it on the 4-hour. So it's going pretty much sideways, not much of a trade. Even if we're looking for this one to push higher, that's not much of a trade. So we can see this one coming down here, and at least retesting the top here again at 106.60, coming back down, and then making a move that we're expecting to the upside like that. That is the 3-wave structure, WXY structure there to the upside. So that's what we're going to be looking at. Look at this move here. It's a very short move, not a very good risk to reward ratio. So it's just a forecast there, not necessarily a trade. Euro US dollar. Now let's have a look here. So this is Euro US dollar, and we forecasted and we spoke about this about 2 weeks that Euro US dollar will come down here and make a move to the upside, similar to CHF yen, and that is happened exactly as forecasted. But the question is that move going to continue? Let's have a look at the yen pairs here on the site. Looking at the yen pairs, let's have a look at the yen pairs. Right, so while we're here, guys, so just look out for our new website. We're going to be launching it hopefully in the next week. So it's going to be an all new website. So when you browse there, just be mindful of the fact that you may find an all new website. Content will more or less be the same, but it will be much more user friendly. Right, so we were looking at Euro US dollar. So Euro US dollar, this is what we focused at a couple of days back, that we're going to have this one coming down here and make a continuation to the upside. Now, what if you were a trendline trader? If you were a trendline trader, you would have thought this has broken the trend line and it's coming down. Okay, so because we look at the waves, we look at the market differently. We look at the waves. So we're looking at this as a pattern and a continuation to the upside, right? And the characteristics of that is a regular flat. So we're looking at that one has now made a move to around this level. Now, is there enough volume for this to keep pushing higher? So that's what we're going to be looking at in the next week. Watch out for a corrective structure that's going to build at current levels. So that is here, where we are here, pull back. So this can take any corrective structure. If it does this, then we're going to see this as a continuation pattern. You can even get a trade here for one more up. Right, CHF, let's look at CHF yen as well. So CHF yen, if you go there, CHF yen also on the 4 hour. This is CHF yen on the 4 hour. Again, we focused that we're going to have a move down, expanding flat, and then upside. And that is how it's playing out now. We are also around here to see if this is going to have enough volume to push higher. Then we take a trade there. So this is CHF yen. That is what CHF yen has done as well from here. This was the forecast that we're going to have an expanding flat. Inch perfect comes down here at this level. Now we make a continuation pattern to the upside. Right. All right, so on the euro, this is the structure we're going to be looking at here, a continuation pattern to the upside. Let's just look closely at the structure there. Let's bring it closer, take this one off. Right, so this can make a possible structure like this or even like this. So if we get a structure like that, then we start looking for a continuation pattern to the upside. The indicator will show us whether we've got enough volumes or if we're getting confirmation for upside there. All right, that is euro yen. Next one is we've looked at euro yen, CHF yen. CHF yen is similar structure. So we're actually looking at CHF yen, not the euro. So this is the CHF yen, similar structure as the euro, has also played out like this. Let's watch for a corrective structure that's going to play out here. This is the expanding flat that was forecasted, and we're going to be looking for this one to push higher. Wait for this corrective structure and confirmation on the indicator to see if you've got enough volume and confirmation there. Let's look at CAD yen. CAD yen, is this going to make a move to the upside? It is not confirming. As much as you've got a pulsing move here, you would want to just buy this after this corrective structure, but looking at the indicator, it's not confirming an upside move. So we may see this one come down here. If it comes down like this, we're going to have to adjust the structure. So let's have a look here. So we cannot just use the sequence alone. You cannot use the Elliott wave count alone without the confirming indicator. So here, this could be also another potential structure here. Let's have a look at this bigger structure on this one. Potentially what we could have here is that we've got a pulsing move down. We could have this one as a three-wave move. Let's use a purple color here. 1, 2. This is just another possibility. 1, 2, 3. So this could start a move to the downside. So what we're seeing from the indicator, we're not getting confirmation that this pulsing move has got enough move or volume to push to the upside. So If it does not push to the upside, this is how we're going to adjust the structure. We're going to start looking at this as a continuation pattern to the downside, and we start forming this three-wave structure. This is just another alternative of how you can look at this. Either one of them you should be able to catch before it happens if you do have a proper strategy for it. AUDN, we looked at this one here. We also looked at a short-term trade for upside, just like AUD US dollar made a short move to the upside and came back. So this one could also make a move to come retest the top here. So let's just watch this structure here and see if we're going to get a structure like that. Right, so AUDN still sideways, not much of confirmation for upside. It's actually not a good trade to buy at these levels after such a big move. It's good to buy if it makes a double correction like that. Then you know that it's correcting the whole move. Okay, so that is AUD. Not much to do on AUD there. New Zealand yen. Is it gonna make a push to the upside, or we're gonna come down lower? So these structures, these current corrective structures after this impulse, will tell us when the market opens what we're building here. Okay, let's have a look. Now again, this one on New Zealand, the bigger structure possibility is this one here. You've got a pulse move down here, you've got a flat there. So that flat, if the structure, if we don't have enough volumes to push up higher here, we're going to come down like that and make this corrective structure, after which we'll break down the low and resume the move to the upside. This is the bigger structure. The trend is upside. This is a sideways correction. We could be making one more down and then a push to the upside. That is New Zealand. Gold looking very interesting there. Let's have a look at gold. We have said when gold started this move that we are only looking for gold to complete this structure. Then we're going to start looking for the bigger move to the upside. Within these corrective structures, you can focus the next immediate move, which we focused that gold was going to come down to this level. So if we can get to that, we have gotten to that level, we have made a pullback. Now, how is this going to play out? Let's have a look at how this has played so far. So let's have a look here. So another possibility is that we can have gold coming up here and making this three-wave corrective structure like this. Then you have this down and then upside. So we're watching to see which pattern is going to play out on gold. Right, so we came down here. So last week we focused that we're going to have a move, and possibly that move could even come down here. So if we had come down here on gold, we could have done this, we could have done that. It will still be the same bigger structure to the upside when we catch the last wave. Remember what we're looking at on gold. Let me just show you on the daily. This is currently wave 4 in the red degree. So whatever happens here, we know that this is the wave 4 that is currently building. So when the wave 4 is done, we're going to look for upside. That's why we're tracking that in the lower degree. Silver, similar. We are in the current corrective structure, also in wave 4 in the super cycle degree here. So we've got a pulsing move down here on the daily. This looks like it can make a structure like this. Let me switch off here so you can see only the pattern. So you've got a pulsing move here. Let's use purple. You've got another pulsing move here, and this one makes a correction here. So if you do see a push to the upside on silver, there's a possibility we just go take the top here and come back down before we resume the move up to the wave 5 in white. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking for this corrective structure to complete on silver. Let's go to the lower time frame, 4 hour. Let's see what we're getting on the 4 hour. Are we getting that confirmation for upside? Doesn't look likely. It looks like we've got this one as a continuation pattern to the downside. So that means silver may continue with one more down like that. So how will that change the structure? It won't change the overall structure. You can have this as a three-wave move to the upside. And you can have this one as a three-wave move to the downside. How will that change the structure? It won't, because we just have a bounce back up and then we go. That means you would have a flat correction there in the middle. So the next immediate move is this one. We're looking for this one to continue lower. Right, that is silver. Let's look at Brent crude. Brent crude continuation to the downside. If you see a bounce here, that will be ideal, because then that's a decent corrective structure. We'll look for this to continue to the downside. Why are we looking for continuation to the downside on Brent crude? Let's switch this one off here. So Brent crude has completed the diagonal. So let's take this one off here. So we actually expected that the wave 5 was going to give us one more up. That's why you see that arrow there. We're expecting that from here we're going to have one more up before coming down. But the idea has always been to catch the down move. So we've got a pulsing move to the downside. Wait for this to give you confirmation or a clear continuation pattern to the downside, at least to the 50 to 61% of the whole move. That is Brent crude. Let's go to the pound pairs. Let's check the pound pairs. So this is pound chief. Let me show you the structure on the pound pairs. Let's go to the website. So the pound pairs are starting to play out very clearly now. Let's have a look at pound pairs. Let's start with pound chief. Pound chief, let's start with the 4 hour. Now this is the 4 hour on pound chief. You can see that we're looking at this to be a move up here and a corrective structure here in the red degree. So this was about 4 days ago when this was updated. So we're looking for this one to continue to the downside. Now look for any pullbacks to come around this level. Okay, first check this level because that's a structural level. It is not a support or resistance. We don't work with support or resistances because we look at the market differently. We will look at waves. So we're looking for continuation pattern to the downside. Look for a move to the downside. Right. So what we didn't pick up last time, if you remember, we were looking for this one to go all the way. We didn't go all the way. We only got this move. It was about 200 pips from around here. And we didn't go all the way as expected. So this was our initial forecast, but that has now changed. So we'll be looking for this structure. It's clear now. So we'll be looking to pick up some more pips to the downside here. So that looks like, and that's not the case, only the case on a pound chief. It looks like all the pound pairs will be looking downside in the next couple of sessions. So look for pullbacks. Let's go to the chart here. So look for pullbacks in the 1 hour for downside. That is pound chief, pound Audi. Let's have a look at pound Audi. So pound Audi, let's have a look at the daily. I want to show you not just the daily, let's look at the weekly as well. Unfortunately, I've removed the weekly. Those that have been watching these videos for some time or for months will remember that we looked at pound Audi to do exactly this. Now, what is the structure that we're looking at? We're looking at this as a W, X, and a Y. It does not get clearer than this. Watch this corrective structure on pound Audi. You can see that from the 29th of August already, we were forecasting this downside. Although here, we tried to take advantage of this in our group. We tried to take advantage of the short-term move to the upside. Did not play out, so we will be trading to the trend. So we wanted to take that trade the short-term correction, but did not quite play out. So we're looking for this one. Now look for this. This is quite a number of pips to the downside. So even if you didn't get this move, so if you had missed that move, there's still a significant move to the downside, not just around this area, but even lower than that. So there's a potential for bigger move to the downside on pound Audi. So if you know how to catch continuation patterns, how to if you've got a structure, or for us basically it's just the indicator that we use. The indicator will tell us when the trend resumes. So now we know that it's a downtrend. So whenever we get a confirmation that the trend is going to resume again, then we take the trade, because you can come and sell here. This can start correcting, not just correct, it can even give you a structure like this, and I'll show you. This can even give you a structure like this and before it comes down. So imagine if you had sold it here and it moves from around 75 back to 86. This is over 1,000 pips already to that level. So you need to know when to ride the trend, Let me show you the structure on pound Audi in the lower degree. Let's look at pound Audi on the 4 hour. You can see here, the forecast here is that we're going to make a bounce. It's not necessarily the structure that we're expecting. This is an alternative, okay? So this is the first alternative. So alternatively, if we don't make a bounce, we're just going to ride the trend. We know that if this does not make a bounce, that means that is our wave 4 and this is our ABC. Simple as that. But the trend is down, and this is where you should be making money in the next couple of sessions up until November, December. Right, so pound AUD looking very interesting. Actually, the pound pairs are looking very interesting. Right, this is pound CAD. Now pound CAD, we actually expected this one to be only a 3-wave move. We expected only to get to this level and resume higher. So after getting to this level, we exited our trades. So you'll be looking for this one to pull back and continue to the downside. So just to show you what the forecast was here on pound CAD. So pound CAD, you can see that is the forecast. From this corrective structure, we expected this one to only come down here and push up higher. Okay, there's a couple of pips here, but just because it has continued up down to the downside doesn't mean you lose money. That means you exit the trades, you get involved with this one here. So basically the structure that's playing out here is an ABC. We're going to adjust this in ABC corrective structure, and then we start looking for this one to make a move to the downside. This is the adjustment because from what we forecasted to make a move to the upside. So what I'm trying to show you here, I'm showing you all the structures to show that you do not, we don't always forecast 100%, but how do you manage your money when you are not correct? So that's why you need proper risk management, and you need the indicator to confirm your wave counts. Right, so that is pound CAD, pound New Zealand. So pound New Zealand has made a sharp move to the downside. Look for a continuation pattern to the downside. I would be expecting a bounce here, but you can see that this is a pulse, this is a pulsing move. So I'm simply expecting this one to make a continuation pattern to the downside. So pound New Zealand also looking for continuation to the downside. Let's look at pound New Zealand here on the 4-hour. So you can see a pound New Zealand. So this is the drop here on the 4-hour. Now, just like pound CAD, we thought that it was only going to get to this level and make a bounce, but it's now already this level. So we're going to adjust our structure. We're not going to get the big X. That means our X is going to be here, and we're going to get this one to continue lower. All right. All right. So that is pound New Zealand. Let's look at pound New Zealand. Look for these pullbacks. Don't just go sell them on the 1-hour, sell them on the 4-hour. Euro pound. Now Euro pound is very interesting. Let's have a look here. So has made this corrective structure, is making a push to the upside. Any pullback, just like the pound pairs going down, Euro pound is going to the upside, mainly because of the pound in it. So any pullback, look out for this structure on Euro pound. I have to show you the daily on Euro pound. Check out this on Euro pound. So Euro pound on the daily, let's get this structure. We've got a move up. We've got this move down. We've got this move here, flat correction here. We've got this move down here in red. So the red ends there. So no, that's not correct. Let's see what we have here. The yellow move will continue like that to the upside. Let's get this one off here. The red degree will be like this. 1, 2, and the 3, just like this. So 1, 2, 3. Then you've got the flat there in the middle, just like that. So look for this one to continue to the upside. But we need to check what happens here, because at this level, we can make a pullback here before continuing to the upside. Okay, so that's what we're looking at on Euro pound. Watch it. So if this is the case, if the pound pairs are going to pull back, that means they're going to make a short-term move to the upside while this is making a move to the downside. But that's all going to be decided at this level. We're not at that level yet. We're still pushing higher. That means the pound pairs are still pushing lower. That is Euro pound. Watch it. Euro AUD, different, coming down. So look for this. This is on the daily now. Look for this to continue to the downside on Euro AUD. We're just following the trend here. Let's go to the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour, you'll see that we've got a continuation pattern that is playing out here. This is 1, 2, 3 flat correction. We've made a pulsing move down. Watch this structure, guys. This will be a potentially good trade to the downside like that. So if you get confirmation here, so confirmation, we use the indicator. So just to give you a bit of a background on what the indicator does, you know that we don't necessarily just trade the breakouts, because you find that some people would be talking about false breakouts and all those things. So the indicator does not just look at the breakout. It tells you what is happening with the RSI, with a number of other indicators that we look at, and tells you whether this confirmation to the downside is valid and whether it is going to play out, and you take the trade. Otherwise, if you're just looking for a breakout, what if this one comes down here, comes down, let me just draw this one cleanly. If it just comes down here, breaks down here and go back up and continue to the downside. Didn't you get a breakout there? That's where some will say it's a false breakout. It is not a false breakout. It was never a breakout in the first place. That's why when that happens, we know whether to get involved or not. Okay, so that is the RSI. That is how you trade with confirmation. So you need to get confirmation that this is a corrective structure. Understand the characteristics of this corrective structure. How does it behave? When does it end? What are its Fibonacci levels? If you understand that, then you'll be able to catch the moves. Okay, especially when you know the trend is downside, like on the euro. You should not be trading against the trend. The trend is downside overall. You should not be buying against this. That is your trend on the euro. Right, that's Euro Audi. Let's look at EURCAD. EURCAD, it's a bit different to the rest of the euros. Are we going to make a push to the upside? We can see we've got a three-wave pullback here and a pulsing move. Let's see if we're going to get this, but eventually we should continue lower on EURCAD. EURCHF. So EURCHF, look for continuation to the downside. I'm now on the daily. Let's look at the 4-hour. I know most of you want to know what's happening next week, not in the next 2 or 3 months. So let's have a look at this one here. It's continuing to the downside. Look for continuation to the downside here on EURCHF. Right. That's EURCHF, Euro New Zealand. Euro New Zealand. We took a trade here. We got this 100 pips to the downside, has now pulled back again, giving us a deeper corrective structure. So we're watching for this corrective structure to push down. Let's look at the crosses AUDCAD. So AUDCAD last week we looked at this one to be making 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 back, and expected this one to make 1, 2, 3 down again. Did not happen. Instead, it is crawling up higher, so that means the structure changes slightly here. So we've got a pulsing move, we've got a corrective structure. Even if this one takes the top here now, the structure would have changed slightly, so we can have something like this. So we can have something like that, take the top, back, and then continues into the downside. It's going sideways, it's not giving any specific direction. That is AUDCAD. So let's wait for it to give us a clear direction. AUDCHF, look for this one to continue lower. Look for this to continue lower. We've got these 3 waves up here. After making the pulsing move, go sideways, we're looking for this one. That is AUDCHF, Audi New Zealand. Audi New Zealand, we have said a couple of weeks back that we're not looking to sell Audi New Zealand. So this is a move to the downside. It looks like we've got a pulsing move down here. So if we get a deeper corrective structure here, we may go and take the previous recent high here on the Audi. If we take it, we may come back down for this one and push up higher. The reason why we're not selling Audi New Zealand, I've shown in a couple of webinars previously, is this. Let's see if we can see it on the daily, or if I should go on the weekly. I think it's clear on the daily. So on the daily, we've got this big move that has ended here in 2015. So from 2015, we've been in this big corrective structure that starts with an impulse, comes down with the 3 waves here. Let's show the 3 waves in yellow. 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2, 3 up, and 1, 2, 3 down. Now, what are we looking at? We're looking for this one to make a push to the upside. I'm giving you this so you can see why we're not interested in selling Audi New Zealand as yet. We're looking at the bigger structure like that. So even if this does not go right now, you can see here, we may get these to go sideways. That's even better because that's going to be to push it up higher. That's Audi New Zealand. New Zealand CAD. New Zealand CAD, short-term move to the upside, but essentially just going sideways here. It's not really going anywhere. That's the daily. Let's look at the 4-hour. So on the 4-hour, we've got a move here. Look for a short-term move to the downside here, and then upside again. That is New Zealand CAD, New Zealand CHF. New Zealand CHF should continue lower. If you see a pullback here, we'll see this one coming down here. CADJPY, this is one that you need to be riding for a couple of days to the downside. So if you get a move down here, pull back here, we should see this one coming down there. We've got 1, 2, 3 up here. We've got this one is a 3-wave move here. Okay, so this one has made another corrective structure here. We need to see what structure is playing out, but we can see that the next move here, the next target will be around this level. So get an entry here. Now, even if you know the direction, if you do not know where to enter, you still won't make money because you can enter right now and this starts correcting like this. And when it corrects like that, you don't know how far it's gonna go. You exit, you panic, then it comes down like that. So you need to know where to enter and where to exit. That's CADJPY. That's all on the Forex pairs. Let's go into the indices. Now the indices are fairly simple currently, showing the simple 3-wave structure. So we've got towards the end here on the S&P 500. Let's see here, ABC, this one should be adjusted. Right. Right, so on the S&P 500, this is the end of the move. Let me just switch this one off here. So we're looking for this one to have made A, B, C here, looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this the end of the wave 5 in blue? I'll show the wave 5 in blue just now. So we've made a pulsing move to the downside. We've been expecting a pullback after the all-time highs, not necessarily a reversal. So let's watch to see if we're gonna get a decent corrective structure. This will then make a move to the downside here like this and possibly resume higher. Okay, so that is the S&P 500 on the 4-hour. Let's show this one on the daily so you can see the bigger structure. Now the question is this wave 5 in blue complete, or is this only the wave 1 of the 5? Now if it is only wave 1 of the 5, that means all these 5 waves that we've seen, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we'll only be making a wave 2 here. Then we still go for a 3, 4, and a 5 in blue. And it makes sense because if you look at the wave 3, it's fairly big. So you would expect to have a similar wave 5. Let's go to the weekly. Hopefully I still have all this on the weekly. So I think that's what we have here on the weekly. So that is the weekly chart on the S&P 500. We're seeing this pullback. Does not mean that it's a reversal. So we could only be in this wave 1 of 5. The overall structure is this one here, 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2. Now, just like gold, this wave 5 in blue could only be completing the bigger one. Excuse the colors here. I'm just using the zoom notation here. So this could be only the wave 3. So let's see what we're going to get with this pullback, which is potentially going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. So if this is only a wave 3 in the bigger degree, this is a weekly chart. That means we're still going to have a 4 and a 5. So that means the indices are still going to push much higher. So even if we do see a deeper one here, we should resume a move to the upside. So the short-term move, short-term expectation here is to complete the ABC structure here. 1, 2, 3. That's it. So watch out for this corrective structure on the S&P 500. Dow Jones, similar. has also made a 5-wave move to the upside. So expect the same thing on the Dow. We've made a pulsing move. See if we're going to get a move like that. Corrective structure and then resumption of the move to the upside. Transportation, similar. 1, 2, 3. So if transportation, I'll show you the correlation, the relative strength between transportation and industrial next week, just to see where the next direction is going to be. Right, that is a Dow Jones transportation and industrial. Let's look now at the NASDAQ. So the NASDAQ has also made the last piece of move to the upside, which we thought was going to be an expanding flat. Still a possibility. We can still make an expanding flat here and make this a continuation pattern. So we just need to see if we start getting a continuation pattern here, that's going to change the structure. So that means this would have been all the move and we start correcting that whole move before resuming the move to the upside. For now, short term, look for this. That is the NASDAQ UK 100. UK 100, we've got this structure here. Let me switch off here, the labeling, so you can see the structure. That is a flat correction there. That's a move down, that's a move up, and we have this. So UK 100, we could be starting a move to the upside like that to go retest the previous high here. DAX, we've got a trade running on this one. It's going very slow, but it looks like it's setting up for another upside here. So watch for this one to continue higher on the DAX. Okay, it has just gone sideways since we took the trade. It has not really gone anywhere, it has not played out. That is the DAX here. So this was the entry on the DAX. So we're looking for this one to push up higher. It's not going anywhere. Let's see, we may be making a diagonal here. A diagonal, if it does make a diagonal, we'll make a pullback and then we're going to continue higher. Let's see how that plays out on the DAX. Right. So this is actually the wave 4 here on the DAX. So the diagonal could come up here. Diagonal should get a deeper correction. As long as the deeper correction does not go into our stop, then we can still hold on to this trade. Right, so that's the DAX as well as the Nikkei. The Nikkei also, we also had the trade here, but it's not gone anywhere, but it's setting up for continuation to the upside. Looks like it's gonna start going now. So we were looking for this one to be a wave 4. This is a wave 4, and what we're looking at is to trade the last wave 5. But if that wave 5 play out as a diagonal, is gonna be very slow. So let's see how it's gonna play out. But that is the trade that we're in on the Nikkei. And lastly, Nifty. Look out for the crypto webinar right after this, 5 minutes after this. Or if you're only watching the video, just check it out on my channel. So Nifty looks like it's still gonna make one more up. It is crawling up higher. At some point we should see a deeper pullback like we're seeing in the S&P 500 and the other indices now. Right guys, that's all I had for you this week. Have a safe week, trade responsibly. Don't forget to drop a like, hit the notification bell, make a comment, any suggestions, we'll look at them. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers, bye-bye.